Hello there, I'm Sasha, and it's my honor and privilege to welcome you to Comp 250 for Fall 2021. I hope you're all as excited as I am to start this new exciting semester. Now, as you know, we aren't quite able to be on campus yet this semester. But don't worry, you're in good hands. In these sessions, you'll have the opportunity to work with your classmates and TAs. You can expect games, demos, and explanations. All in all, you're bound to have a great time, so let's get started. Today's session starts with a recap of some of the basic concepts we're using, which then we're going to apply in a simple example application. After that's done, you're going to go off into breakout rooms, and you're going to work on a challenging application with your classmates. Details on that will come later, but for now, let's get started. Echo was not intentional, but regardless, we're here and still happening. Gosh, why? That shouldn't be happening. Don't know why it is. What kind of echo is it? Is it echoing now? Still. My microphone is set properly, I think. I have one Zoom open. That's interesting. I don't know why it's echoing. I'll just quickly remedy this for you guys. It shouldn't be echoing anymore. Is it? No echo, right? Okay, cool. So I'll just use this, no problem. So today we're going to be going over some basic topics. Hopefully you see the format from the intro video. Oh, is it? Is my echo delay is longer. Does anybody have their mic on who isn't hosting? Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why any echo. Oh, is it this? Is it echoing now? Okay. I think it was a Zoom setting. I was setting it to share my desktop sound, I think, in addition to my thing. Sorry about that. New Zoom setup, as you know, very fancy. Anyways, so here we're going to go over a couple topics that we'll be covering in the session today. We're going to be starting off a basic Java project, so that's kind of like, starting off, making it run, right? Then you're going to write to the console, do some basic I/O, so system out print line, also very easy. You're going to see an example soon. We're going to see something you haven't seen before, which is the scanner. The scanner is how you collect user inputs. And then we're going to go over some control flow, so that's if, else, while loops, for loops. It's kind of basic stuff, but we got to be good at it so that you can do well in Comp 250. Then we're going to also do some basic math operations. And to go over these concepts, we'll do a bit of an example application before we send you guys off into breakout rooms. So without further ado, let's get into that. I'll just correctly configure this first. Yeah, okay. We should be good in the IDE here now, and we'll start off a new project. Again, we're going to do a basic app that's going to explain us some of what we'll be using later on today. I'll just do a basic empty Java app. Again, this is setup that you guys should be familiar with, and I'll just call it tutorial 1. Right, very simple. You've all set up a project in IntelliJ, I hope. If not, we have office hours if you still need some help. But that's the basic project setup. We're going to start off by showing you the very basics. We're going to go here into our source folder, create a new Java file. It'll be called, tutorial maybe. And here, we want to be able to make it run. So how do we make it run? Well, screen is blurry. Here, I need to change the zoom setting really quick to make it, here. Now the screen should be very sharp. All right. To make a Java method run, we have to put some boilerplate. You'll understand what it means later, but for now, you already have seen it before probably. Public, static, void, main, string, array with a capital S, args. And now we all know the first thing you do is use system out println hello world. Right, and that's a simple Java application. That's like the most basic program you can get. Right click, run tutorial. So this is kind of the core of what any Java program will be like that you're going to write in this course. It's going to be printing something. That's not enough to do today's session. In today's session, you'll be working with TAs and classmates to do a little bit more of a complicated application. And for that, you're going to need some more logic, some more syntax. In Java, we handle logic, syntax, control flow, all of this with little curly brackets. So if you're from Comp 202, you did Python, it might be a little bit new, but you can already see a little bit of it here. For our example application, we want to create something that's going to sing that famous song, 99 Bottles of Beer on the Wall. So to do that, we need to first repeat something 99 times. And we need to print out how many bottles of beer on the wall. First, let's see if we can print out a variable. So let's say right now we just want to print that there's no beer on the wall. So int number of beer equals 0. And if we want to print out that number, we can just do the standard system out print line, and we put that variable there instead. So instead of printing this string, we can also print out a number. If I run this, it'll say 0 hello world. But that's, again, not enough for our application. So we can also combine these things. If we use a plus sign, we could say number of beer plus, and then we're combining the strings, bottles of beer on the wall. And then it'll print out that number. So this is kind of the basic core of what we'll be doing in our loop if we're printing out bottles of beer on the wall, right? We'll start off at a number, we'll reduce it, and we'll keep printing that out. To repeatedly do some code, we could copy paste this a bunch, but that's stupid because we don't want to have a code that's so unreadable, and if we want to change the number, that's hard, right? We don't easily do it. Instead, we want to do loops to do it, and to do a loop, what we do is while or a for loop. These are various kinds of loops in Java, and I'll show you both very quickly. First, I'll start with the while loop. It's kind of the most basic loop. The syntax of it is like this. You have these curly brackets here, which contain the code that will loop, and in here you put the condition. So maybe while the number of beer is greater than 0, we'll keep reducing it, and we'll start it off at a bigger number. Let's say 50, or I guess 99 is the standard, right? So there's going to be 99 bottles. While there are still bottles remaining, we're going to print off the number of bottles of beer on the wall, and we're going to reduce the number. So the number of bottles of beer on the wall equals the number of beers on the wall minus 1. Right? That makes it so that we can count down. If we run this program now, it's going to do kind of the basics of the bottles of beer song. Right? But there's a couple things that are missing here. We're forgetting the second verse, of course. So if we want to print another line, we can just do system out print line again. Take one down, pass it around. Right? And now we've got kind of more of the song going on. However, as we know, we need to do correct grammar, and unfortunately, 1 bottles of beer is not correct. So that's not exactly ideal. We want to put a little if statement in here. Number of beer is going to be 1, and then we'll print out something different, right? Instead of printing this will be in an else statement. If numbers of beer equals 1, we'll print out instead of that, and this is common, right? So these parts are the same between the if and the else. We'll put them afterwards. But instead of saying bottles of beer on the wall, we'll say bottle of beer on the wall. And now we have correct grammar, and we have a loop. So that's kind of the basic syntaxes that we'll need. Now, if we want the user to tell us how many bottles there are, we can also get that from the user. The way we get input from the user is like this. We type scanner s is equal to new scanner system.in. Now that seems like it's like a big complicated thing. This can basically be memorized for now. You'll understand it later. But what you need is this line of code, and I'll even drop it in the chat because you'll be using it later. But that's what you use to get a user's input. First, you start off the scanner, and anytime after you declare this s, you can then use it. So here, if I want the number of beer, I can say s.nextInt, which will ask the user for a number, and then, well, I guess I have to ask the user for a number. I'll say how many bottles. Then the user will tell me how many bottles are on the wall, and it is going to count down from there. To demonstrate this in action, actually I should also, just for completeness, you could write s.close after you're done, but it can still run if you don't. But yeah, so this is kind of how you get input, right? You create the scanner, you get the user's input, and then you close the scanner. So we'll run this. It's going to ask you how many bottles. I'm going to say maybe 50. And now it's going to start the counter at 50 and count it down. And then you'll see that the grammar was also corrected, because when there is 1 left, it prints off something different. All right, so these are the basics. Do you need to import scanner? Yeah, you do need to import scanner, but IntelliJ does it for you, so you don't really need to worry about that. It'll auto-import. If you're in Eclipse, just type in import Java util scanner. So yeah, this will do its job, and this kind of shows all the code you're going to need for the tutorial. Not for the tutorial, for the rest of the tutorial, I guess, right? So again, this is the basics code. This is the example application. And this code will also be sent to you guys in the Zoom chat so that you can reference it when you're solving the next problem. Again, you'll need it just for the syntax. Between all these things, you should have enough building blocks to build the app we're making in the next stage. Scanner, again, to recap, collects user inputs. So scanner waits for the user to type in a response. So here we're saying the number of bottles of beer on the wall is going to be the next integer that the user sends to the computer. And then once we get that number, we can just close the scanner and we're done. Though, again, this is kind of like optional for now. I'll just call it optional, close the scanner. This one is create the scanner. And this one is read the next number the user types. And that's a scanner class. That's how you get user input. Again, TAs are here to help you as well if you need it. So this is our example application. This has been sent to the chat. These are the building blocks that you'll use for the next part of the app. And if there's any questions, now is a good time to ask. How do you import scanner in Eclipse? You just paste in this line from the top, import Java util scanner, and it'll do it. In IntelliJ, you don't need to type that. It'll type that for you. So if there's any last minute questions to me, you can ask them now. And otherwise, I'll send you off to the explanation for the activity that we're doing right about now. A last call for questions. Very well. In that case, let's try. Oh, why is it called next int? Because it's the next time the user types an int into the chat. So the next number the user sends to the chat, basically. All right. Let us commence. All right, guys, it's time for the main event. So because of the online semester, everybody always had a calculator. And because of that, a lot of people have unlearned basic math. That's multiplication, addition, subtraction, division. To fix this problem, we're going to work on an app that quizzes you on the type of math you want to practice. Here's how it's going to look. First, it's going to ask the user what kind of math they need help on: addition, multiplication, division, or subtraction. Once the user picks, let's say, multiplication, they'll be presented the opportunity to answer a math question. If they answer the math question correctly, they will be given a point, and then they will move on to the next question. If they answer incorrectly, they will be told what the correct answer was, and again, they'll move on to another question. After, let's say, 20 of these questions, the user will have the opportunity to see their score, so something like 19 out of 20. Now, this might seem daunting or confusing at first, and like a big ask, but don't worry. You'll be working with your TAs and with your classmates on this app. You're not alone. And you'll have all the opportunity in the world to ask questions and be creative with your solutions. The TAs are also here to guide you along the way if you get stuck. All right. Now, if you finish all those goals, there is one stretch goal that you could achieve before you're completely done with the app. Again, it's totally optional. You don't have to if you're not finished the app. But if you guys finish early, what you could do is you could make the questions harder as the user gets more questions correct. Because we keep track of a score, and generally math questions get harder with bigger numbers, we can use that score to increase the size of the numbers we're working with so that the user can get harder questions as they get more questions correct. That'll keep them engaged for longer. Again, totally optional feature, but if you guys have lots of time remaining, then that's something you can work on. And if you finish even that, then that's your opportunity to get creative and have fun. This app isn't a one-size-fits-all solution, and it's you guys' canvas to make whatever you think is cool. If you think that there's some cool addition you can make to this math game, don't be shy. Add it in. Throw in all the cool features you want, because at the end of the session, we're going to demo every group's app and compare them, contrast them, see which one we like the best, or maybe we like them all the best. You'll have the opportunity to show off your cool ideas and your CS skills, so don't hesitate and get out there, have a lot of fun. Good luck. I look forward to seeing all the clever, crazy things you guys come up with, and enjoy. You're in good hands with my fellow TAs.